Chapter 2. Mr. Bennet was among the earliest of those who waited on Mr. Bingley. He had always intended to visit him, though to the last always assuring his wife that he should not go. Until the evening after the visit was paid, she had no knowledge of it. It was then disclosed in the following manner. Observing his second daughter employed in trimming a hat, he suddenly addressed her with, "I hope Mr. Bingley will like it, Lizzie." "We are not in a way to know what Mr. Bingley likes," said her mother resentfully, "since we are not to visit." "But you forget, mamma," said Elizabeth, "that we shall meet him at the assemblies, and that Mrs. Long has promised to introduce him." "I do not believe Mrs. Long will do any such thing. She has 2 nieces of her own. She's a selfish, hypocritical woman, and I have no opinion of her."
"No more have I," said Mr. Bennet, "and I am glad you find that you do not depend on her serving you."
Mrs. Bennet deigned not to make any reply, but unable to contain herself, began scolding one of her daughters. "Don't keep coughing so, Kitty, for heaven's sake. Have a little compassion on my nerves. You tear them to pieces."
"Kitty has no discretion on her coughs," said her father. "She times them ill."
"I do not cough for my own amusement," replied Kitty, fretfully.
"When is your next ball to be, Lizzie?"
"Tomorrow fortnight." "Aye, so it is," cried her mother, "and Mrs. Long does not come back till the day before, so it will be impossible for her to introduce him, for she will not know him herself."
"Then, my dear, you may have the advantage of your friend, and introduce Mr. Bingley to her."
"Impossible, Mr. Bennet, impossible, when I am not acquainted with him myself. How can you be so teasing?"
"I honour your circumspection. A fortnight's acquaintance is certainly very little. One cannot know what a man really is by the end of a fortnight. But if we do not venture, somebody else will, and after all, Mrs. Long and her nieces must stand their chance, and therefore she will think it an act of kindness if you decline the office. I will take it on myself."
The girls stared at their father. Mrs. Bennet said only, "Nonsense, nonsense."
"What can be the meaning of that emphatic exclamation?" cried he. "Do you consider the forms of introduction and the stress that is laid on them as nonsense? I cannot quite agree with you there. What say you, Mary? For you are a young lady of deep reflection, I know, and read great books and many extracts."
Mary wished to say something very sensible, but knew not how.
"While Mary is adjusting her ideas," he continued, "let us return to Mr. Bingley."
"I am sick of Mr. Bingley," cried his wife.
"I am sorry to hear that, but why did you not tell me so before? If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would not have called upon him. It is very unlucky, but as I have actually paid the visit, we cannot escape the acquaintance now."
The astonishment of the ladies was just what he wished, that of Mrs. Bennet perhaps surpassing the rest, though when the first tumult of joy was over, she began to declare it was what she had expected all the while. "How good it was in you, my dear Mr. Bennet! But I knew I should persuade you at last. I was sure you loved your girls too well to neglect such an acquaintance. Well, how pleased I am! And it is such a good joke, too, that you should have gone this morning and never said a word about it until now."
"Now, Kitty, you may cough as much as you choose," said Mr. Bennet, and as he spoke he left the room, fatigued with the raptures of his wife.
"What an excellent father you have, girls," said she, when the door was shut. "I do not know how you will ever make amends for his kindness, or me either, for that matter. Or, at our time of life, it is not so pleasant, I can tell you, to be making new acquaintances every day, but for your sakes we would do anything. Lydia, my love, though you are the youngest, I dare say Mr. Bingley will dance with you at the next ball." "Oh," said Lydia stoutly, "I am not afraid, for though I am the youngest, I'm the tallest." The rest of the evening was spent in conjecturing how soon he would return Mr. Bennet's visit, and determining when they should ask him to dinner. I'm trying something fashion-wise. Do I look cute? yeah, chapter 2. The chapters at the beginning of the book are very short, but they make up for it later when they're very long. So, not too worried about it. So now yesterday I was talking about how much I didn't like Mr. Bennet because I don't think he has, like, responsibility, I guess, for, like, what he should be doing. And you may think that the fact that he visited Mr. Bingley, even though, he was like, I'm not gonna visit Mr. Bingley just, to mess with people, that I might like him more, but no. 'Cause that's mean. Why would he do that? Sorry, Mr. Bennet stands. Yeah, this is our first sort of introduction to the whole Bennet family. I think we got all the sisters, but it's still, I think, unclear at this point who's the main character. I think we got all the sisters except Jane mentioned at least once in there. My favorite bit in that chapter is Kitty coughing and, like, everyone getting mad at her for it because I feel her pain. That's just a funny chapter. That's a good funny chapter. Oh, you're on a rolly chair and my dog just bumped it. You see what I kind of mean about Mr. Bennet liking to make everybody else miserable or upset because he thinks it's funny. That's not very becoming of a man of a certain age. It's not becoming of a young man either. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to meet Mr. Bingley. I really like him. And yeah. That chapter is such a good, like, little pocket of the characterization of all the girls. Like, it says that Elizabeth is trimming a hat. She's doing something practical. She's doing something practical and, like, productive. She speaks very sensibly. She tries to, I don't know, stay out of her mother's hysterics. Hysterics? That's how it was written. That's probably what it would be called. Kitty just kind of being everyone's everyone's a little bit annoyed by her. Even though she's not really doing anything. Mary, I love Mary. I haven't watched the other Bennet sister yet, that new show, but I should because I like Mary. She reminds me of myself when I was a little bit younger, trying to think of something clever but failing because she's not all that, and of course Lydia. Lydia appears for a little brief interjection at the end of the chapter where she boasts about how tall and beautiful and how she's sure she can get a fine gentleman to dance with her. Lydia. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the Bennet family. I think they're dysfunctional, but they're fun to read about. Yeah. I don't know. Pretty cut and dry chapter. I don't really have that much to say about it. I probably said more than I already have. There are a lot of characters in this book, and they're kind of hard to keep track of, especially if you're reading this along with me, and it's your first time, because we're only doing a chapter a day, So I made a little character guide, and it's in the doobly-doo, and I'll add more characters to it as they get introduced. I put what I think are the, like, most plot significant characters on it, but, there are some people we haven't met or won't meet for a while, like Mr. Collins and stuff that I'll add later. So, yeah, I'll stick that in the doobly-doo of all of these videos. Peace. See you tomorrow.